Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're not just going to list a bunch of conspiracy theories. Nope, we're going deeper. We are going to unpack the why behind them. Why, in a world just overflowing with information, do these incredibly powerful stories take hold of us?
And that really brings us to the core question of this whole thing, doesn't it? With every single fact, every opinion, just a click away, what is it that actually shapes what we believe? Figuring this out is the key to, well, everything that comes next.
I mean, just look at this. This is what it feels like to be online today. It's not some quiet library, right? It's more like this massive, chaotic digital town square where countless narratives are all shouting, all competing for our attention. It's a lot.
So how do we make sense of it all? Well, to really get a handle on this age of conspiracy, we have to start by looking under the hood, at the actual mechanics of belief itself.
To get us started, let's imagine there are 4 different paths someone could take when they come across new information. And a quick heads up, think of these less as fixed personality types and more like different hats anyone could wear, you know?
So here they are. You've got the believer, who's always looking for the real story. Then there's the skeptic, who needs to see the hard data. The manipulator, who has their own agenda. And the observer, who's just trying to understand how the whole story comes together. The key thing here is that these aren't boxes to put people in. They're just different mindsets for making sense of the world.
But here's the kicker. No matter which path you start on, that journey is being guided by these powerful and, honestly, pretty much invisible psychological forces. We're talking about the mental shortcuts our brains take every single day, without us even noticing.
Okay, take a look at this for a second. What do you see? Do you see a shape, maybe a face, a hidden message in all these random dots? Go on, have a good look. I bet a lot of you see something, and there's a really fascinating reason for that.
It has a name, apophenia. It's this deeply human, universal tendency to see meaningful patterns in what is actually just random noise. Our brains are literally hardwired to create order out of chaos. It's an amazing survival skill, but man, it can also lead us down some weird paths.
And apophenia isn't working alone. You've also got confirmation bias. That's what makes us look for info that proves what we already think is true. Then there's illusory pattern perception, connecting things that have no connection. And if you already have a bit of distrust in authority, well, any official story is going to sound fishy. You put them all together, and they basically act like a filter on reality itself.
You can see this play out perfectly with something like the moon landing. Back in 1969, you had a choice. Trust NASA's broadcast, or trust the pamphlets claiming it was all a fake. That tiny seed of doubt just rippled. Through the 80s, it grew in small circles. Then the internet hit, and boom, amplification on a global scale. And today, we're living with that legacy. A single moment of doubt can cascade into decades of distrust. All right, so that's what's going on inside our heads. Now, let's talk about what happens when that psychology gets supercharged by modern technology. Yeah, we're talking about algorithms and those social media echo chambers. When you're scrolling through your feed, it is so important to remember this one thing. The algorithm's goal is not truth. Its goal is engagement. Its only job is to figure out how to keep your eyes glued to that screen for as long as humanly possible. And this is how you can end up down a rabbit hole without even realizing it. It all starts with one simple click, maybe on a post that just questions the official story. The algorithm sees that. It says, "Oh, you like that? Here's more stuff just like it. But maybe this next stuff is just a little more extreme." And before you know it, your whole feed can become this perfect, closed-loop echo chamber that just confirms one single point of view, over and over again. So, with all that in mind, let's wrap up with one last, really powerful exercise. This is a challenge, and it's designed to force a pretty radical shift in how you see things, and hopefully, build some genuine understanding.
It's a role reversal challenge. So if you're someone who naturally leans toward that believer path, your challenge is to find the absolute best evidence you can to argue against a theory you believe in. And if you're more of a skeptic, you have to do the opposite. Find the most compelling arguments out there to defend one.
See what this does? When you genuinely try to build a case for the other side, it kind of forces empathy. You start to see the logic, the emotions, the framework that could lead someone to a totally different conclusion. And in that moment, judgment gets pushed aside for a little bit of real understanding. Which leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. After seeing how our own hidden biases work and how algorithms can steer us, it's worth asking, right?
How much conscious control do we really have over what we hold to be true? Definitely something to chew on.